Greetings, good morning, welcome from the beautiful San Francisco Bay Area. We are live for 5 Play Friday. Glad everybody could join us today. Are we excited? No. Super excited. My elite tech team has been working hard. We will see how they're doing. The proof is always in the pudding. We have a great pregame. We go out on the court. Nah. Michael Myers, excellent. Good to see you, Michael. I guess the emojis aren't coming through to me on my text. That's interesting. Here, let me see. What happens if I send? Let's go. No, we're not doing that. Okay, there we go. See if that comes through. Richard Masterson in the house. Good to see you, Richard. Darwin Sonata repping the blue as always. Good to see you, Darwin. And the fam is in place. Jason Hayes from Missouri. Being overworked as usual. I'll bet you anything. Stan Bixler from Pittsburgh, PA. Let's see. Taylor Swift. Yeah? A neighbor of yours from back in the day? Isaac McAllister. Good to see you, Isaac. Chad Beaver checking in from Indiana. Okay. Mike is tipping it off tonight in Fairbanks. Oh. Yeah, it's interesting. It's always interesting, the staggering across the country. You know, here we've been going for 6 weeks? Almost. Including scrimmages, 5 weeks. And, other people are just getting started. So it's easy as an official that you're not exposed to a national reality, right? It's just like, well, I'm just in my little world with my officials, and we do things this way, and the timing starts this way, etc. There is a whole spectrum across the country. Fred is in the house. Good to see. Go Knowles. That is Seminoles. That's Florida. Billy Mack is in the house. Hey, Billy, in regards to the online rules book, all I could say is I can't say that it's 100%. I just can't make that statement. I could say that it's at least 99%. But I found Rule 3.3-4 with the headgear, religious headgear now being allowed by rule, not needing I found that was missing. So there can be possibly some discrepancies. Zooch has had his coffee. Elite. I have as well. Have I had a lot of coffee? Yes, I have. I have to have a lot of coffee to do this show, 7 a.m. Pacific. Ay. Oh, Al, doubling down. Wait till Adam Kaufman shows up. Good to see you, Al. Oh, Jason has a busy week. What do you know? Jason Hayes is his assigner's best friend. Aye. Good. Do that recovery. Oh, great to see you. Sean is in the house. Yeah, I'm with you, Al. Oh. Ouch. 8 in 3 nights. So that means we've got to have 3, 3, and 2. Triple headers are, here's the deal. It's like sometimes, right, we're going to hold up physically. If we've got 3 games, we're going to do the 3 games, right? We're always going to soldier through, barring injury. The question is, Are you able to manage the workload mentally, right? Because if we're fully invested in the game mentally, have clock awareness, all of the things, that's going to be exhausting. It's just going to be mentally exhausting, and do it in a stretch like that. So we're probably going to sacrifice on that front. That would be me. That's me, right? If I'm doing a doubleheader, am I great down the street? Yeah, maybe not, right? That's why we want to have our habits and fundamentals in place. I find, just like my game the other night, all right? I have a game on Wednesday night. Do I have the clock number when the second free throw is attempted? Or do I have to, after the free throw, get the clock number for shot clock purposes? Right? It's these little breakdowns, right? I don't have the number. Oh yeah, I have to have the number, etc. Along the way that will bite us in the end. Oh, the pre-show blur. Tom's checking in from Milwaukee. Brett, thank you. I was having a brain fart. I could not L.A. Ay. Thanks, Brett. You are a good crew member. They are available in the shop, Michael. They are available in the shop. Jason Honey from South Dakota. We do have a play from South Dakota. Well, we have a play submitted by Chris Janish. I don't know if it's from South Dakota or not. Again, the emojis not working on this end. That's what I tried to address earlier, Billy. Oh, great. Tom, what's the definition of a dribble? Therein lies your answer. If we know the definition of a dribble, we know that a player holding the basketball, touching the ball to the floor, is that a dribble? Have they pushed or batted the ball to the floor? No, they have not. Let's focus on our definitions, and the answers can become much more obvious. I just wanted to see if that emoji. So when I put an emoji into the chat, it shows for me, in what I can display here, right? But when other people, it appears that they're not showing. Like if I do Nova, well, now it is. Oh, Cannon, good to see you. Oh, I see. We're down to 2 minutes on the clock. I'm clock aware. You got to be clock aware. I should put tenths up on the clock for the final 59.9. David Backen is in the house. Thomas Hennian. A Taylor Swift reference. Brett's got a league game tonight. Hey, Joe, good to see you from up north. Home of the Lumberjacks. Yeah, you would be a fool to take the over with my tech team on fire. Fairbanks, a double up from Fairbanks. Good to see you, Gregory. Love the name. Play going the wrong way after a jump. Possible prelude to a play later in the show. Oh, is Sharon Stone from Pennsylvania as well? Joseph Del Colo. Great to see you from Spartanburg, South Carolina. Of course, my son lives in... Where does he live? He lives outside Charleston in Mount Pleasant. Chuck Ratliff could be a play submitter. Good to see you, Chuck. Hello, Casey from Kansas. Good morning, Chris Janish. Appreciate all the play submissions, but don't want to give you too many opportunities. I'm going to give some other people. I've had a great influx of play submission as the clock strikes 0. I am very clock aware. I'm very clock aware. Leitner's in the house. Nova, the timer is to keep me from extending the show too long. So we're at 7:12 in the morning. I'm happy with that. I'm happy with that. I'm trying. My objective is to do the show in 75 minutes. That's my objective. We've gone 90. Is that the end of the world? No. No, it is not. Kamali Rowan is in the house. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I hear you. Boy, I hope that cup gets refilled. Oh, David York is in the house. Good to see you, David. All right. We got a great group in the chat. Jason, I think that is the basketball officiating forum on officiating.com, which is a great forum, a lot of expert rules knowledge in there. Not a Facebook group, so it's a little bit clunkier interface, but a lot of knowledge there. Earl Schaffer from Colorado Springs. My sister used to live in Colorado Springs. Brett Adams, show supporter. Good to see you, Brett. Awesome. Kevin, finals, memories. Frank, good to see you. Mike Goodwin's got 4 hours of daylight today. All right. Wow. Oh, thank you. All right. And indeed, hot coffee comes to the rescue. Hey, Larry, good to see you. Victor from freezing cold New Mexico, high desert. Video is replaying. I'm not sure what that means, David. Hey, Stan, I did not know you lived in Pinole. I did not know that. And Louisiana. All right, we got a great group in the chat. Fantastic. All right, so I've got some plays. I have a script. My Elite Tech team has cracked the whip. They say I must stick to the script. So we'll have a couple of, things that are geared towards the ultimate editing of the show. So let's just keep that in mind. And if I go here, that gets us where we need to be to start. All right. Well, I'm going to disregard those of you who are starting your season tonight. Okay. I think. Let me just check one thing. Yep. All right, the season is in effect. We've been out on the court. We're working our game. We're taking our pregame onto the court. But we can find that there's breaks, things along the way that we could improve. That's what this show is all about. Looking at plays, getting better. How many plays are we going to look at today? We're going to look at 5. Stick around. Greetings, welcome back. 5 Play Friday. My name is Greg Austin with A Better Official. We craft video to help basketball officials get better and take control of their officiating career. One of the ways we do that is we look at plays. We look at 5 plays, try to break down all of the things. What do we want to know when we take to the court? The rules of the game, the mechanics, what's going to happen next, habits and fundamentals. And let's get started today with a You Make the Call play, as we like to do. What do you have on play number 1?
Timeout. Oh, right, Eagles.
All right, timeout granted on this play. A lot going on, rules, points of emphasis, mechanics. What do you have on this play? Put your ruling down below in the comments. We can talk about it there. And of course, stick around to the end of the show. We'll talk about play number 1, and we'll look at all of the things. All right, with that, let's move on now to play number 2. Except for live stream viewers. Okay. Just do one thing here. Let me do that. Got it. Got it. I see. Okay. Yeah. Bear with me. Oops. Hey, back at the start of the show, we had play number 1, a You Make the Call play. Let's take a look and talk about all of the things on play number 1. All right, and then for live stream, we go here. All right, so we have on this play, we have a ruling of a granting of a timeout. Is this correct by rule on this play? What do we have? Right, one of our points of emphasis from last year is to make sure that we have what? Before we grant a timeout, that we have player control on the court, either granting a coach timeout to a coach or to a player. In a loose ball situation, we are to be diligent, right? Our trail official in this instance makes an assumption, right? When the ball is tapped to a teammate, that team control will be granted. There's that pressure we feel. There's a pressure when we know that the coach is requesting a timeout. We're just waiting for the team to gain control so we can grant it. This player dives. We have a contact on the play. We have a player who's sitting on the division line who contacts the basketball. This should have been a backcourt violation by rule, but we grant the timeout to the head coach. Then we have the opposing coach come onto the floor, wants to discuss it with us after we grant the timeout, etc. Right? So let's look at some of the things that we could do on this play. So first of all, every time I do that, I need to do something there. Yeah. Let's go here. We have team control on the court. The ball gets loose. 2 players go to the floor. One goes under a player. The player who was going for the ball gets his legs taken out. Is this a foul on white? Is this a foul on red? Do we have to rule a foul in this situation? We have a play, right? So we have a division line that's really clear. This player is sitting on the division line. That should be obvious to everybody. They contact the ball first with their leg, and then they bat the ball to a teammate. This should be a backcourt, right? Of course, in a loose ball scenario, we can become confused about whether there's team control, but this should have been ruled a backcourt violation here. You could make a case that White picked up the basketball in a brief instant before it was knocked loose. Very tough to see that. We've got a trail official who does a great job of selling it. I've got a granting the timeout, etc. We designate the spot, I believe. We're slow into our timeout, which is fantastic mechanics. We don't start the timeout, and then we address the coach on the floor, right? This would be a great opportunity to walk our coach back to the coaching area that's defined by rule. We have a strange switch where our lead official is now going to administer this front court throw-in. That's all very odd. But what we have here is a situation where we have a backcourt violation that goes, that's improperly ruled. No call, incorrect. We subsequently grant a timeout when it's not obvious that it should have been granted. And then we have some mechanics issues along the way. So, what can we take away from this play? This is a situation where we want to be sure before granting the timeout in this instance. We'll take some heat if the ball subsequently gets loose. It should be obvious that we have player control before granting a timeout in this situation. We have to understand backcourt rules. And of course, we have a course available on backcourt, so we can never miss a backcourt call again. But a great play to look at for all of the things. Now with that, let's take a look at a bonus play. Do that.
Game sounds playing over you when you're talking.
That's just now or just all the way through?
This play.
The entire play?
I think so. Might have been just now. I'm not sure.
Ay, ay, ay. Oh well. Ay, ay, ay. I'm lost. Doug has a backcourt violation? Yes. Could it be called by the trail? Yes. Could it be called by the center? Yes. Could it be called by the lead? Probably not. Yeah, Billy. But the question I would always ask on a signaling issue is anybody unsure of what the official meant? No, it's not. Did Red 2 Joseph dive on top? I'm screwed up here. Did they dive on top or did White dive under? Right? That's always a question we need to judge. We have two players competing for the basketball. Does White take out Red's legs on the play? Right? I like a no call in that situation. I like a no call on the competition for the ball. This was not a situation where White had control of the ball. Red dove on top of them. They're both competing for the ball. So I like a no call there. I see. Boy. Yeah, Scott, definitely a backcourt violation. Okay. Interesting. My brain says it's not a foul on Red, that we got two players competing for the basketball. And White gets to the floor first, but they don't even have the basketball. So I guess, oh boy. Okay, very popular opinion, foul on red. I agree, David. Yeah, yeah. Like I say, I like a no call, right? This is obvious. So does the white player take out the red player? You know, and the absence of player control, is that a factor on the play? Interesting situation. Chuck and I seem to be of a like mind. Brett says no foul. Yeah, it's an interesting part of the play. Mike's going no call. You could certainly, justify a call on red. You could certainly justify a call on white, and you could certainly justify a no call. So, but in the situation where two players are competing for the basketball, and there's no obvious advantage gained by one or the other, my brain says, let's see what happens next. Now, if this, yeah. Okay, we're going to play number 2. Okay. Well, that's the one weak part of my transition was there. But we are going to move on now to play number 2. All right, new for 2023, we have a new rule allowing players to legally leave the court. The one restriction on that, though, is that a player may not leave the court voluntarily and then be the first to touch the basketball upon returning. And that is exactly what we have on this play. Great get by our calling official. One that leads us to, okay, what's going to happen next? In this situation, is there going to be confusion in the gymnasium? Yes, there is. Right. So this player chooses to voluntarily leave the court. Let's take a look at this action by our player. Throw in to start the period. Let me go here. Right, so the player on the baseline, on the end line rather, voluntarily runs out of bounds using that part of the gymnasium and is the first to receive the basketball. This is a violation rather by rule. Where would our subsequent throw-in be? It'd probably be at the spot nearest to where they touched, which is going to lead to a situation of who's going to handle the resulting throw-in. We notice our old trail says, okay, I'll become the new lead at the other end. Right, so we want to know what happens next. Is this situation going to cause confusion in our game? Yes. Nobody is going to know what is going on. The stakeholders in the game, even though it's a new rule, there's still confusion about this rule. but this is a correct ruling. We also note that our official uses the collegiate mechanic of a delayed violation, extending one arm like a delayed free throw violation, as a mnemonic to recognize, hey, I've got a player going out of bounds, right? Is that an approved mechanic by NFHS? No. Is that helpful? Yes. Yes. So we can do all, maybe we can clench a fist if we really want to not violate the sanctity of using only approved signals, National Federation of High School. But this is a great job, a great get by our calling official on this play. Let's be really clear, though. Know what happens next. Designate the spot for the resulting throw-in so that your crew in a 3-person game can know exactly what's going to happen next. Of course, our calling official will be the one administering the throw-in. If it's on the far side of the court, our crew needs to know how to move on the play. So that's a great way to approach things, to know what happens next. But this is a great get by our calling official on this play. Yeah. Oy, oy, oy. Yeah, they're going to become easier. Let's see. Kevin, that is correct on this play. Agree, David. Agree, David. Yeah, it's really helpful, Billy, to see these plays, just to see it, right? And it's just like, oh, wait, I gotta recognize when this occurs in our game. Scott, let's just say he chose the path that he took. The player chose the path that he took. There was congestion, right? But he chose, I need to get to the other side. I'm going to use the out of bounds portion of the court to do so. And it's that decision, which is now legal. Yeah, you can do that all you want. It's just you cannot be the first to touch. Until right, so we see all those risers for like a concert or something, until the ball goes up in there, and and we've got to get a player to go up. Yeah, it's great to have that. Yeah. Of course, what is our correct signal? Out of bounds violation. Point to the spot. Does that do any good in the game? No, it does not. A lot of vocalizing is going to probably need to occur. Did not, first to touch after voluntarily out of bounds, first to touch after out of bounds, etc. I guess our violation occurs when the ball is touched on the court. So it would be at the spot of the touching on the play. That's something, it's going to be non-intuitive, but helpful to designate the spot in this situation. It's always helpful to designate the spot in a crew of 3, especially in a backcourt situation, especially in anything close to the division line, close to the corner. Hey, Brian. Yeah, I like that. I like the signal. Mike brings up, so what if this is a less obvious situation, right? What if the player returns to the court exactly in the same fashion, But our ball handler up top dribbles. They dribble towards the opposite sideline. They dribble back, and then they pass the ball to him. I don't believe that's the purpose of the rule. I believe the purpose of the rule is simply just like this, where the player returns to the court in an, they basically use the out of bounds portion of the gymnasium, right, to get to another spot on the floor and therefore gain an advantage in doing so, right? The whole everything's designed here for them to gain that. So I think timing does matter. Of course, if our dribbler had passed the ball to somebody, they get the ball back and then pass the ball. Oh, Thomas. Oh, I did not know there was a case play for NCAA women that covered this. Interesting. All right. Okay. Script. So that play emphasizes a new rule for 2023. And of course, having rules knowledge is critical. We need to know the rules in the game. Another thing that's important is you have a strong crew, and we have a strong crew here at A Better Official and 5 Play Friday. We've got a great group of show supporters. Let's give me an opportunity to thank them for that support. Who's up on the big board today? Brett Abbins. Oh my gosh. Brett Adams, Gene Boglin, Jung Yip, Chuck Ratliff, and Darren Hansen. Much appreciated. Much love. You want to support the show? I will make sure there's a link down in the show notes below and in the first pinned comments. And I'll make sure to put one somewhere. Yeah, let's move on. Next play.
Falcon fans are on their feet. Gillo's on Moselle. Terman's on Carpenter. Lang inbounds to Moselle. 14 seconds.
Now back off, play a little zone.
Carpenter's on the right wing. He's going to set a screen now, cuts left down low. Moselle can't find him. Into the corner. Woolen drives. Dumps out. Moselle's got a drive. He's in.
No.
And the buzzer.
No, they called a foul.
Foul. Devontae
They did
Mooney
not
comes
call a
in
foul.
with a
They did
whistle.
not call a foul.
They're going to talk about it here.
No foul.
The foul is on Reese Ketron. That's number 5.
How much time's left on the clock
And
then?
with no time currently on the clock.
Oh,
With no time currently on the
No.
clock.
yo.
The officials are not going to put any time on the clock as Moselle is going to shoot free throws. And an unbelievable circumstance here. Unbelievable.
That is terrible. That is a terrible call if he calls that.
What a call.
That is
Holy
an amateur
cow.
call.
Finishes it. The Virginia High Bearcats take a 59-58 win over the Abingdon Falcons. They're going to shake hands. And administrators on the floor. Just an unbelievable circumstance here. And I'm out of words here, Coach.
Yeah,
I don't know.
It's
It's
really bad. I mean, we don't call that often, but it was just a very strange call to end the game.
Honestly, I think if you go back and watch it on NFHS, you're going to see contact. But I think you also are going to see far less contact than they let go all night long. And in the moment right there, that is a tough spot.
All right, last second foul ruled. Is there time? We're disadvantaged here by the frame rate of the video. Was there time that could be recognized by the crew on the play? In the end, the recognition was that the timer was unable to stop the clock prior to the horn sounding. We, in this situation, correctly clear the lane for the resulting free throws. If one of the free throws is made, the game is over. That is what occurs on this play. Our crew leaves the court. There is some activity between our visiting players and a student section, which is, of course, not under the purview of the crew that left the floor. But let's look at the play itself. Right. So I will say this, right? So at a recent training, Sheree Mitchell, NBA official, talking to the crew in an end of game situation, and she said it's absolutely critical to understand the consequence of your whistle. Understand the consequence of your whistle in an end of game situation. If we make an error, a mistake, a misjudgment, etc., this team would have no opportunity to correct that. This is going to be a judgment call about whether this is a foul or not, and that's all really straightforward. But let's go back. What's our mindset in this situation? Teams inbounding the ball with 15 seconds to go in a tie game. Both teams are in the bonus. What is our mindset in this situation? This is a part of the game where we want to be excellent. Right? So let's just keep that in mind. We want to know the consequence of our whistle. If we rule a foul, free throws are going to result. Right? So let's look at that. This player drives. We've got an outside defender who's the responsibility of the center official here. We've got a secondary defender who establishes in the path and yields. Does our secondary defender get that foot down prior? They have established their position. Is it before the player leaves the ground? I think it is. I think it is. I think our secondary defender here is legal and yielding their contact. And so we have a foul by the lead. Our center official is coming in simply to provide information. And then our lead official says, no, you take the call, thinking that his partner had made the call. Do we end up, affects our display of certainty. And this is a high certainty situation, right? Right. So one of the things we like to think about here at A Better Official is that this has to be an obvious foul to put a foul in the game in this situation, right? Our announcers suggest that this has not been a foul all night long. We don't know just looking at the clip. But we want high certainty in end-of-game situations. We want fouls to be obvious in end-of-game situations. What happens if we put a no call or we rule a no call in this situation? What happens next? Our teams go to overtime and they have a chance to compete to see who wins the game. So, key takeaways from this situation. Understand the situation in the game. Have the mindset that we are going to make rulings on obvious things. And in the absence of that, what are we going to have? We're going to have overtime. That would be my takeaway as a crew. Do we have the ability as a crew to put time back on the clock here? Was there any awareness? It seems as though there's a gap between, although our on-screen screen is not helpful, there's a gap between when the foul occurred, the foul that was ruled occurred, and when the horn sounded. Do we have awareness as a crew of time that should be put back on the clock in this situation? Yeah, so we want to be great in end-of-game situations. That is true. That's obvious, right? And we want to know the consequence of our whistle. We don't want to put things into the game that haven't been in the game previously, and we want to have discipline in the end-of-game situations as well. Yeah. All right. Fair, fair. Okay, good. Let me do this. Yeah, okay. Yeah, so I think maybe our trail on this play was surprised by the foul ruling and did not have a look at the clock. Obviously, our trail here is the one who has the ability to have a big picture view. Yeah, with the NFHS automatic camera was not our friend on this play. Yeah, without definitive knowledge, Mike, right? Could we have had definitive knowledge? I don't know where the clocks are in this situation. They should change the frame rate, though, of the camera that's doing the inset recording. Jason says contact on a shooter must be called. Okay. Let's take a look. What's wrong with my picture here? Illegal contact on a shooter must be called in this situation. Do we have illegal contact right there by White? I'd say no. Could you make a case that he goes from A, our secondary defender goes from A to B? Tough call to put in the game at the end of the, right? So, Jason, illegal contact. We can have high contact on a play. I had a tremendous play in my game the other night. A player outside the three-point line, he's a dunker, right? He is going in from outside the three-point line. Our secondary defender at the basket is very athletic as well. These two players go up. It is phenomenal display of athleticism. The dunk missed. This defender is absolutely legal. Was there a lot of contact on the play? Absolutely. There was no displacement. There was no foul by the verticality by the secondary defender. Tremendous amount of contact. Legal play. Absolutely. Thank you, Thomas. I'm going to look for that preseason flyer. Boy, if there's any way you could send that to me at hello@abetterofficial.com, that would be a plus. I don't know that I have that. Okay. All right. Jason has the foul. He likes it. I'm with you, Chip. I'm with you. I guess, right? Nova doesn't think that our secondary defender is legal. Let's see what Brett has to say. Yeah. So this is a philosophical approach. It's one that's reflected by many in the chat. This is a high certainty situation. It has to be obvious, and I've expressed it as well. This is an approach to officiating the end of the game. Now, you could say, look, that foul was a foul by rule. He moved this much, etc. In an end of game situation, in a tie game, is that a factor in our judgment on a play? Well, who cares if it's either a foul or it's not a foul? There are many that are in that camp. I am in the camp of you have to recognize the situation and what's going to happen next if we do not put a whistle on the play. What's going to happen next if we do put a whistle on the play? What is the degree of obvious of the foul? You may say he moved 6 inches in the air, right? He moved into the path of an airborne shooter. That's a foul. It's been a foul all night, etc. Right? You can have that mindset, or you can say, and we may have to take some pain if we put a no call in this situation, right? The black coach is going to say, he was fouled, there was contact, you've got to call that, right? We may have to take that moment of pain in that situation. Let's move on. Let's get to overtime. So this is what you want to know as a crew going into this situation as well. Maybe have pre-gamed this. We had a timeout. Obviously, we were coming out of a timeout, getting to this play. How we're going to officiate this play, let's call the obvious. Let's not put anything in the game that hasn't been there already. Let's be ready to officiate. Let's be great in this final 15 seconds as a crew. That is something we would want to reflect as well. $54. I have it somewhere. All right, fantastic. Hey, that play was submitted by Chuck Ratliff. If you want to submit a play, you can always follow the link here. I'll put it in the description. I'll put it in the first pinned comment, and I will put it up above. Submit your play, and it may appear on 5 Play Friday. All right, with that, let's move on. Next play.
Dribble handoff to Stanton as he carries it across the frame. Lost the handle. Dingman deflects it. Schumacher's able to get it back. Schumacher loses his feet, gets his dribble back, gets it to Stanton on the wing for 3 off the backboard. Loose ball. Quaddy gets on the floor. Jump ball.
Going to stay with the Cougars at the possession arrow.
And the Cougars will get it underneath with the possession arrow. Dickens into the corner for Miller.
All right, a play near the division line ruled legal by our crew. Is this a legal play? What do you have on this play? This is an unusual play. It's not simple in our evaluation, but we have to know the rule and we have to understand the status involved in each situation here. Okay, so let's take a look at the play itself. We have team control on the court, in the front court. That's the first element, of course, that we have to have for a backcourt violation. Our player in black, why we have black and red, I don't know, but our player in black loses control of the basketball and an opponent bats the ball into the air, right? We know that if the defense causes the ball to gain backcourt status, it's not a violation. But what happens next on this play? A player with front court status jumps from their front court, catches the ball in the air, and lands in the back court. And we're familiar with, well, wait a minute, that's part of some rule. There's an exception, right? Except the exception applies during a throw-in. So we had a situation where a team was in team control. They were the last to touch the ball in the front court, and then cause the ball to gain backcourt status. This is a backcourt violation by rule. This is a play that's going to be hard to process. We need to, right? And we have to give ourselves a license, of course, to do a high process in this situation. Could we come back after the ball has been dribbled into the front court and the player appears to be fouled, and then make a ruling? Yes, we can, right? This is going to be a high processing play, but this is a backcourt violation by rule and a play that we want to get right in our game. And getting play. Oh no, yeah. And this is a play that we want to get right in our game. Yeah. Hey, Luca, that's awesome. Yeah, nerve-wracking. I don't trust that on-screen clock on that previous play. I just don't trust it because I tried to superimpose Chuck a clock, but it's too risky. Edward Harris in the house. Good to see you. Oh, Jacob Krause is in the house. I knew the taunt was coming. Hey, Andrew, good to see you. Awesome. Okay. All right. Backcourt. I agree it is a tough one. Thomas, you can go hello@abetterofficial.com. Thank you. Glenn has backcourt. Luca, it's tough. It's just a tough play, right? There's a lot to process because we know the defense batted the ball, and we know that the offense catches the ball, above the backcourt. There's confusing pieces of information that would go to our brain in this situation. That's why I always like to encourage officials to recognize that this is a high processing situation in the game. Take time, do the processing. Don't feel like, oh, well, the player's already dribbled the ball into the front court. Come get the call. Take some heat. That's late. You can't call that late, etc. Take the heat. Get the call right. Scott says no backcourt violation. Yeah, this would be a great get by RC, right? So if you're the trail in this situation, let's see what the trail is looking at, right? Because this is always where's my cursor? What is our trail looking at when the ball goes up? It might have been watching the basketball. Hard to tell with this video quality. I'm sure there are many, Billy. Maybe not in name, but yeah. We do. Yes, indeed. We have the stage. Poppy Tails thinks it's close. Let's take a look. How close is it? They are airborne in this situation. When they actually catch the ball here would not be a factor. The question would be if they had either backcourt status when they jumped or backcourt status and then caught the ball. But they are definitely contacting the basketball in this situation. and landing. Yeah. All right, let me do this. That's for my benefit. Okay. To officiate the game, we've got to know the rules. Knowing backcourt rules and restrictions is a great skill to have, and fortunately, I've created a course that is now free. If you use the code on the screen, you can access the free mini course. Never miss another backcourt call again. Never miss another backcourt call again. Use the code on the screen. I will put it in the show description. The first pinned comment. Okay, I'll do it. I'll put it up above. All right, let's move on. Next play. That is not the next play. What happened there? Holy cow. What happened there?
To Libis. Tigers in a zone here now. To Miller. Stolen by Albright. We're going to get a technical foul on St. Mary's coach. Not sure what's going on here. Lisa's asking some questions. And he must stay seated with that technical foul. Tigers now 3-point lead.
All right, not something you see every day, right? Our opposing coach, player makes a steal, is going the other way. The coach reaches out, bats the ball out of bounds. Wow, what do you have on this play? This is not something you see every day. Our center is in great position to see everything about the play, recognizes it immediately, assesses a technical foul, engages with our opposing coach, who maybe is thinking that this should rise to the level of flagrant, technical. Do you have that on this play? Our calling official never engages our crew in this situation. Right? One of the habits and fundamentals we want to have in a technical foul situation is to work together with your team. You have a team on the court. You have a team of officials who may help with the ruling, the adjudication, the procedure, etc. Don't want to be on an island when we make rulings such as this. Do we want to make this engagement with the coach until after we have conferred with our partners, reported the foul, right? Then maybe have a discussion, etc. Just some areas for improvement here, I think, right? We want our first reaction to be to make our ruling what we have on the court. Go to our partners, go to at least one partner in this situation, say what we have. Is this a play? And the other partner may say, hey, we need to talk about what level of technical foul this is. That should be flagrant. I'm fighting for that. He can't do that. That's a flagrant act to do that. It's unsporting beyond the pale. Our calling official may say, no, he just simply reached out. It was a reflex, etc. Right? But get together with your crew, right? You will have more power as a crew in that situation. So that's a takeaway I would have. Not a play you see every day. Obviously, a technical foul on the head coach. In your opinion, does it rise to the level of flagrant? I don't know that it does to me, but that's something we would potentially want to talk about as a crew. Obviously, it's going to be 2 free throws for any player or eligible substitute, and the ball for division line throw-in, just as this crew did. So, a great play to look at. Not something we see every day, and it's great to just see the play, recognize it could possibly happen, and look at our habits and fundamentals when something unusual happens in the game. Yeah. Chris, what is the rationale for that guidance? Just the level of egregiousness, right? This would seem different to me than contacting an official, stepping onto the court in disagreement of a call, bumping the official or something like that. So I'd just be wondering what is the rationale? What if it's just a reflex, right? So earlier in the season, we had a play where the official bounced the ball to the thrower, and the coach just reached out and grabbed it because he wanted another thrower, right? It's almost like a yeah. And also, I guess it would be different if our coach reached out and tripped the player, contacted the player, etc. So that's interesting. My first reaction was not flagrant. But I've never seen this play happen before. So that's a great analysis. Yeah, Jacob, I agree with you. It's just like the engagement with the coach who may be appealing for an upgrade on the play, right? That shouldn't happen first. We should go to our crew and say, here's what I have on the play. What do you have on the play? Do we need to consider, etc.? Tom, I'll get back to that. Sit out the next game as well, Dustin. Was he? Did they ultimately come up with a flagrant ruling in this situation? Hmm. Hmm. David, we share that opinion. Unsporting and unacceptable. Okay. I'm with you, Dre. That's true. That's true. I'd wonder if our rules book language would, if there's support by rule in this. I mean, it's obviously an unsporting act. I'm tempted. Unsporting, attempting to influence, using profane, objecting to an official's, inciting undesirable, removing, grasping, entering the court, alcohol. It's limited to, it includes but is not limited to those actions. Okay. All right. Well, if you've got guidance, that makes things simple. Let me just make sure I know where I am. Okay. Go ahead. All right, live stream viewers, we have a bonus play. Let's look at a bonus play. All right. Do you have a foul on this play? Is that illegal contact? Wait, what? You have something else? You have something else on this play? Oh, fantastic, right? So we have a jump ball to start a game. We have teams playing basketball. Unfortunately, our players are going in the wrong direction, right? So this emphasizes a couple of things. At the start of the game, all of the human beings on the court, even after players have warmed up, etc., the human beings on the court do not quite have their bearings yet. As a crew, do we have our bearings on this play? No, we don't. And is that something that we would sometimes expect to happen in our game? It happens. It happens. It also points out that if basketball players play basketball in the wrong direction, it's not uncommon for everybody to adjust. It's just like those birds in flight where the lead bird changes direction and the entire flock changes direction. It can happen in the game. Basketball players are used to ad hoc changes in situations, and they're without bearings in this situation. What do we do? Right? It was not recognized when it occurred. The correct ruling here would be black gains team control. They dribble into the backcourt. That's a backcourt violation. But if we have a situation where basketball is played in the wrong direction and a foul is ruled in this situation, what is our guidance? Do we go back and re-jump the basketball? What do we do in this situation, right? Correct ruling here would be that we have a foul. We have it on white. It's going to be a black throw-in or dark blue throw-in, and we're going to go to the appropriate spot at the other end of the court and resume the game with all scoring fouls that have occurred during this period where we had this time of confusion would stand We would rectify the situation, bring the ball in, have the players point, or the teams pointing in the correct direction. So, a great play to see. Hopefully it won't happen in your game. If it does, is it the end of the world? No, it happens. It happens. There's human beings involved. Sometimes without bearings, we can get a, of course, we always like to say it brings up the concept of, are we really ready to go to officiate the start of the game, right? We can have a moment where we don't. So, yeah, it's a play. Hey, if this is the video content you find valuable as a basketball official, great time to do all of the things. Hit like. It really helps us with the YouTube algorithm. It gets us in front of more basketball officials so that we can all get better together. Appreciate you sticking around to the end of the show. What I'd like to do now is thank our tremendous show supporters who help fuel our broadcast. Brett Adams, Gene Boglin, Jung Yip, Chuck Ratliff, and Darren Hansen. Much appreciated. Much love. You want to support the show, you can always buy us a coffee. I'll put a link in the show description. I will put one in the first pinned comment, and yes, I'll put it above the Christmas tree. Fantastic. We have additional video content. Here is a video on backcourt rules and restrictions. Here is a link to the course on backcourt rules and restrictions. Thanks for joining us today. We'll see you in the very next video. Take care, everybody. There, that's done. That's done. All right. All right. Did I get this play wrong? Let's see what we have. Yeah, Billy, I don't see it rising to this level in this situation. Tom Hickey has re-jump. Oh, do we have the ability to do that, Tom? Yes, Kevin, with the new rules, we could possibly, if we award the ball to the wrong team in this situation, let's say it was a second period division line throw-in, and we recognize we can put the time back on the clock. Yeah, everybody got confused. Well, you see, I guess we have our white players think we're going in the... let's see what happens. Black grabs the ball. White says, oh, we're playing defense in this direction. Wait a minute. White players are like, hey, wait. Has this ever happened to you? It certainly has never happened to me, except, that time that it did. Of course. Is this the... I'm with you, Zooch. That would be a great thing to mention, Mike. We're at the table and we're bumping before we go onto the court. And we say, hey, let's be ready for something. Let's be ready for something screwy on the jump ball. Let's not miss it, right? And just sort of that would refocus everybody just prior to running onto the court. And set the arrow to white. Zooch, killing it. That's a great point. Yeah, I guess it would depend on where our calling official ruled the resulting throw-in should be. Yeah, that would be an end line throw-in at the opposite end. We don't have citations here. I believe there is a case play that suggests, right? So what we have to do here is make the judgment about, like, let's say our black player simply dribbled the ball and went in for a layup and nobody else played basketball in that direction. Again, I encourage people, we've got a backcourt violation. We can come late. How late could we come with the backcourt violation? If you're, let's say you're the opposite the table official and you realize right here, right, she's dribbled the ball like 3 times in the front court. Man, come in strong. Come in strong. Make the ruling. Yeah. Yeah, many thought that. It only gets better, Doug, if our ruling here. Yes, but Doug, it was attempted at the wrong basket, but we've entered the twilight zone where we're playing basketball in the wrong direction. So if that's the case, then this would actually be a shooting foul, and in that situation. Thanks, Chris. I had never thought of it myself, Mike, until you just said that, right? Because if we say it in the locker room, maybe it doesn't transfer. Interesting. All right. Hey, for live stream viewers, I've got another play. Sure. I have another play, a bonus play, live stream only. Let's take a look.
No good. Rebounded by King. King back inside to Stecker. Stecker shot no good. Rebounded by Kennedy. As they're going to get Stecker, and he's going to be done. And he's going to get a technical foul. So Cimarron will go to line. Keeler, do not do that. As both fans are getting animated here. So we have a personal foul on Stecker. That'll be 5. And then we have a technical foul.
Not too long. All right. Why is it doing that? I don't understand. Well, that's interesting.
No good. Rebounded by King. King back inside to Stecker. Stecker shot no good. Rebounded by Kennedy. As they're going to get.
Oh, okay. All right. I got skills. Hold on. I'll go there.
No good. Rebounded by.
I'll go there. All right. So we have a rebounding foul ruled. It is the player's 5th foul, according to the announcers on the play, and then a subsequent technical foul is assessed on that same player. Our calling official, young Casey C., I don't know if he's on the chat, submitted the play. Casey is very willing to assess technical fouls, right? So we have a situation where a player reacts. If they expressed language in this situation, oh, ref, you're terrible, that sucks, etc., then obvious technical foul. Do we give players a moment to potentially, display some incredulity about a call, knowing especially that it was their 5th foul, etc.? But our calling official, a key takeaway here is our calling official goes immediately to the table to report. Is this a common, easy, simple, what's going to happen next scenario? No, it's not, because we have the player disqualification component of the play. When we assess a technical foul, make our first reaction, slow down, find a partner, communicate what you have, Do we have bonus free throws in this situation? Possibly. And how we're going to adjudicate things next. Then go to the table, report. We have a player foul, common foul on this player. I have a player technical on this player. Hey, ref, that player has 5. Coach, that player is disqualified. I need a substitute. That's going to happen before anything happens in the game, right? So habits and fundamentals in this situation, knowing we need to slow down, go to a partner, work together as a crew, is going to be our best success as a team on the court. I don't know that the player I think we would, Doug, because once we'd started playing basketball in that direction, anything that occurs, the fact that it was going towards the wrong, if the player had scored, are we going to give the 2 points to the opponent? No. It was temporarily in the twilight zone a situation where we were playing, that was their basket. They were fouled attempting a try for goal at their basket in this bizarro world temporary situation. It's a rule. 4-5-4. Oh, very nice. I guess, Jacob, if it's just the reaction, maybe so. Yeah, but that's sort of like Gerald. It brings that onto the table. Maybe one official on the crew says, "Hey, he was already disqualified when he got that right." So we have to assess a bench. We have an indirect on the coach, etc. I think our coach does a great job here with our offending player. He says, "Stay on the court," right? Very chill, like that. And then a technical. Does the 6th foul count as a team foul? It doesn't matter at that point. Once we've reached 5, thank you for watching, Joseph. Appreciate it. Yeah, Doug, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Basketball was played in this direction. Team offensive players played in that direction. Defenders defended them, etc. The officials didn't stop play. Again, we've shifted into the bizarro world. It's not simply we lined them up in the wrong direction and basketball was played. It's however we got there, basketball was played in that situation. That's a takeaway here. All right. Good one to think about, Doug. Right. So our player here, even if they had got 2 technical fouls, or 3 technical fouls, or 4 technical until the coach is informed, coach, that player has 5. Okay. All right. Tom, so this is a great question. Let's do this. All right, so Tom says, let's say there are 3 team fouls. The player fouls a common foul, and then there's a subsequent technical foul, and now there are 5 fouls in the period, right? Does the common foul now rise to the level of shooting 2 free throws? This is a question that many officials ask, and the correct answer is no. No, they do not. When the player committed the foul, it was the 4th team foul. A subsequent technical foul does not elevate it to being the 5th team foul, or a team foul after that rose to the level of 5. So our correct ruling here would be to adjudicate the foul in and of its own merits, end line throw-in this situation, but actually in this situation, no, right? So the correct adjudication here would be to treat that as simply a common foul before the team had reached 5. In that situation, that would be the correct ruling on the play. Hey, Doug, awesome. A little glitch to start. That, yeah. We're gonna have a team meeting with the tech team afterward, and we're gonna resolve that issue of how to move. Right. So what I do is I try to create the show for editing purposes later. And so play number 1, which we review later in the show, I have to sort of figure out the transition between it. And today, I did not do it well. Tom, it doesn't matter. It would count as a team foul, but once we get to 5 in a period, we stop counting. So it does, just like back in the day, if we got to 10, it didn't matter whether, all fouls count towards bonus. So if we had a situation where this was the 3rd foul in the period, the rebounding foul, and then the tactical foul counts as a foul. So the team would now have 4 team fouls, and any subsequent common foul would result in bonus free throws. All right. Well, how about it? I could go one more bonus play. Let's take a look. Except I have to go to here. One more bonus play for live stream viewers.
Hit that shot. And it was good, and he'll go to the line to try to complete a 3-point play. 28 points for Keegan Jersley. I don't know how he hit that. That was impressive. Jersley to the line. Goaltend. Basket is good, and it must be a extra free throw for Jersley with nobody around him. Yeah, it was a technical foul on O'Neal. So Mosney hits the 2 extra free throws, plus we'll get possession here, and it's a 6-point.
Okay, not a play you see every day. Yeah, okay. So we have a free throw situation. It's scored the goal, 1 free throw, offensive player goaltends the basket, the ball. right? Our crew comes together. We have lobbying from the opponents saying that's goaltending. That's goaltending. That's goaltending. What are our announcers' first reaction? Goaltending. Goaltending. It's sort of top of mind, right? Our crew does a great job. They get together. They discuss it. They come up with a ruling. They rule that this is a goaltend during a free throw. This is a player technical foul. They award their opponent 2 free throws and the ball for a division line throw-in. They then go to the coaches. They get the coaches together. They communicate the ruling in this situation, right? We've done a lot of positives in this situation about how to handle it. But in the end, the bottom line is we have made a mistake. This is not a goaltending violation. This is a basket interference violation. Basket interference during a free throw is simply an awarding of the goal, the 1-point goal, a ball to the opponent, a ball to the offending team for division line throwing. To goaltend a ball is to contact a ball that is on its downward flight above the rim and has a chance to go in. That's not what occurred on this play. So our crew did a lot of things right, but there was a gap in the rules knowledge of our crew, and we end up making a mistake in a highly competitive, close game that could potentially affect the outcome of the game. And obviously, we do not want to do that as basketball officials. We want to get plays right. We want to develop our rules knowledge and understanding so that in key moments of the game, we can adjudicate plays properly. And of course, if you are a young official working a game, something that you can bring to the crew is rules knowledge. You, as a young official, should be in the rules book, really diligently applying yourself to learning the rules of high school basketball. If you can provide your crew in a situation like this with the correct ruling, that's not a goaltend, that's basket interference. Player technical only for goaltending. Should be end line throw-in, and fight for that correct ruling. You can really establish yourself and save your crew in this situation. Yeah, I might clip that. This may be a prelude to next week. Maybe I'll put it in next week. Yeah, perfect, right? 'Cause, it's just like, or we have a moment of uncertainty and we have a coach who's saying that's a goaltend, or that's a player technical, and we just have that gap in our rules knowledge, and we're not sure that it's not, and we don't want to screw up, right? We obviously want to get plays right. Tremendous. That's awesome. I'm a little out of context on that one, Brett. Okay. I agree with you, Jacob. Oh. It was the pregame dunking that he had to get in that 5th grade game. You are right, Billy. You are right. Yes, I think that was a test question that I screwed up as well. Right, so the opponent of the thrower in the 3rd marked lane space, the thrower is sort of shifted over towards them. They're about to release. They release, and our player in the marked lane space contacts the ball in the upward flight. That would also be goaltending by rule. Yeah. Got me. Thank you. Well, it's like the goaltending on a free throw. The one instance that it occurred is from that game from like 1992, and it's grainy video, and It's certainly not a thing that happens often in our game. Yes, yes. Agreed. Okay. Awesome. Awesome. Well, have I achieved my goal of 75 minutes? Just like wanting to get to the 28-foot line and officiate from there as the trail, I always try to get to one of the two 28-foot lines every time I'm trail for front court action. At least one of them, right? And I achieved 75 minutes, but of course we've gone a half hour over. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? Yeah, I think that might have happened. Yeah, okay. All right. I'm going to take... I'm going to have a little scroll here. Hold on a second. I followed the script pretty well. Pretty well. I believe, yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. I believe the mechanics manual says top of the arc or between the two. Does it? Don't make me get the book out. Don't make me do it. Okay. All right. That's it. I'm done. I'm out. Have great games tonight. I have a JC tournament game in San Francisco. Beautiful San Francisco out at City College. True. All right. That's going to do it. Everybody have a good one, and we'll see you next Friday for sure. And I'll have that first play situation resolved. All right. Tech team meeting.